right, welcome back, guys. The JockTalk podcast is back. We are up and running. Matt, Brock, how we doing today, Brock?
Oh, I'm great. How are you?
Oh, we're hanging in there. Lots of craziness going on in the world. Murder hornets, coronavirus. You never know what's going to happen next. I'm waiting for Sharknado to Attack of the Karens. Waiting for Sharknado to not be sci-fi anymore. So, with that being said, we got a few changes for the show for you guys. Instead of doing longer shows, we're gonna go a couple of shorter shows per week. You can already check out our MLB and NBA review previews going on. We're working on getting the old Tic Tac. Is that what it's called? Tic Tacs?
TikTok.
TikTok. Sorry. Getting old since last time we all talked to you guys. So working on getting that done. So give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe on the old YouTube. Go like us on Facebook. We're rebranded, new colors, new logos. Give us a like, tell us what you think. Always reach out. We're always interacting with our followers and our subscribers. So don't be afraid to reach out. So with this show, I think we can both agree NFL is probably our favorite subject to talk about. Diehard Green Bay Packers fans try not to be as biased as humanly possible, but it happens sometimes. So with that, we got a lot to talk about for you guys today. We'll talk a little bit about the Packers. Excuse me. Talk a little bit about the Packers, talk about our predictions for the season. We'll talk a little bit about the rookies, MVPs, defensive rookies of the year. We'll hit on some of the Packers off-season. And then with that, Brock, the new first segment is...
Carlos Says.
I had a problem with the first pick. Bad. Really bad. And apparently the tight end you love, so I kind of got to like. But, yeah. They probably think Aaron Jones one day is going to want so much money, he's a goner, and then there's the other dude sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
Actually, everybody's picking him number one in fantasy drafts. Well, no, not all fantasy drafts are different. The one they were talking about today, he's the first back off.
Who's that?
Aaron Jones.
I haven't seen
whatever
that
kind of draft they were talking about. First back over Christian McCaffrey.
I don't know who would do that.
But some drafts have like two tight ends, and I'm like lost. I have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
Every makeup is different for it.
That's why I hate fantasy anything.
But you like the Jordan Love pick?
Hell no.
Why?
That's like a diss on a really good quarterback for a long time yet. 5 years easily.
Aaron's getting old.
Oh my God. You're going to kick him out after 2 because you got to pay dude.
Well, it's not about paying him. His money.
He's going to go to the Bears.
He's not going to go to the
Bears.
In
a roundabout way. He's going to go somewhere else and come back to the Bears like a Brett Favre deal. Here, I'm going to stick it to you, and then you'll bring me back in 10 years, and we'll be all good again. Yep. Watch.
But what happens if Jordan Love's a Pro Bowl quarterback?
That's besides the point. That's like a bad diss. Like, Brett Favre was different. Like, I don't know, I'm going to retire. This was like way different. That's like a straight diss to Aaron Rodgers to me. Like, bad. Yeah, I would see him gone in 2. I swear to God, he's not going to be here. He's going to play 1 year, he's going to play again, and then he won't be a Packer in the third season. So, as things are going today, he's going to be a Packers quarterback for 1 season and be gone. Because they're not playing this year. That should can be so canceled. They're going to get in a game or 2 or something stupid shit, and then when not a whole bunch of people, but when certain individuals, that's going to get shut down. Ain't no bubble.
Carlos, not a fan of Jordan Love. He thinks A-Rod did dirty. Thinks A-Rod is going to be a Bears player eventually, one way or another. He's going to wind up on the Bears, just like old Brett Favre ended up on the Vikings.
I sure hope not. That'd be probably the worst thing to ever happen to me personally.
I could honestly say it would be right up there. With that, he did like the A.J. Dillon pick. Who knows what's going to happen? He mentioned it. Are the Packers going to re-sign Aaron Jones? Is he going to want too much money? I know we both are fans of Showtime, but are the Packers going to want to pay him top-notch running back money? I don't think they should personally. I like him. I think he's a really, really good running back, but it's shown again time after time with finding late steals in the draft, finding guys off the street, and stuff like that. There is the tight end that the Packers picked up, folks. He is not a fullback. He is a tight end. You just wait and see. The Packers will have in the next 2 years one of the best tight end groups in the NFL. Degura, Sternberger, you got old man Mercedes Lewis.
Big dog.
You got Rob Tanyan on the team still. Criminally underrated in Madden, by the way, but we may not get to that later. So the Packers draft otherwise, Brock, they had a couple of picks. I know me and you did a ton of mock drafts leading up to it. One of the players that I always ended up with somehow was John Runyon Jr., offensive lineman, which I thought was a really good pick. I think they got a steal out of him. But I think, we both agree, Carlos agrees, the majority of Packers fans agree, there's been one thing missing from the Packers draft.
Wide receiver. Easy.
Wide receiver.
Easy. Everybody. It didn't take a rocket scientist to see what we needed last year. And then we drafted a quarterback round 1.
Wait. They had to have done something to upgrade the team this year in round 2, right?
A.J. Dillon.
Oh, they already have a good starting running back.
And a backup. But that's besides the point. I like A.J. Dillon. I don't think he was a second-round talent. He could be second-round talent, but we could have easily got him in the 3rd or 4th round. But Jordan Love. When that pick came in, I almost punched a wall because there was wide receivers available that I really wanted. It was just like I said, anybody but Jordan Love, because we can get him in the 2nd round. And then we picked him. It was tough. It was tough to watch, but I am happy because Aaron Rodgers is a good teammate. Breaking news. Watch out. Aaron Rodgers is a good teammate. Mm-hmm. I think he will take him under the wing. But Aaron's still got years left on his contract, so it's kind of like, what are we doing? But it could end up being you wasted a pick because you're going to get rid of him, or he's your guy after Aaron's gone. So we'll see in the next 2-3 years, hopefully 3 to 4 years, what exactly the Packers are doing with Jordan Love. But I hope for the best.
Yeah, from the sounds of it, Carlos thinks it's going to be 2 years tops. He thinks the financial pressures is going to be enough to force the Packers to start Jordan Love. But with that, talk about the financial pressures, they still have to do something with Aaron's contract. They have to do something with Aaron then. So, it's one of those things where I think a lot of Packers fans 12 years ago, whatever it was, when Aaron got drafted, thought the same thing. And, who knows if we're looking 10 years from now and Jordan Love is our 3rd quarterback in 35 years. It was the steal of the draft. Yeah. If in 3 years we're picking another quarterback in the 1st round because Jordan Love just ain't it, this could be, it could be a short term for the GM of the Packers. That's one of those jobs, or that's one of those picks that could make or break your decision. Now, Goot has had pretty good drafts. He's hit on a couple, missed on a few, but this could be that draft that, along with Matt LaFleur, this could make or break them as a couple, if you will. if Jordan Love develops, Goot has probably bought himself as much time as he wants to be the Packers GM. If he bombs, then he could be out the door faster than anyone could have thought 2 years ago.
But yeah, it's one thing I did read into about LaFleur is that they're trying to build a dynamic that they did in Tennessee with Derrick Henry, and just having that power and speed back. I mean, the only thing I question is Jamal is on a contract year. Aaron Jones is on a contract year. One of them's going to get paid. I hope it's Aaron Jones, just because he's the big play guy. Hopefully he can fix his hands a little bit, but he's our big play guy in between the tackles, outside, screen plays. Like he's our guy. Like that's who I want as our number one running back. And then Jamal's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Jamal, but I think if you paired Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, that is like thunder and lightning. And and then maybe Jordan Love. People compared him to Patty Mahomes. I'm not doing that. I'm not. But they say he's got the athleticism of Patrick Mahomes. He's got a good arm, but it's just
decision making.
Yeah, and he admitted to that in the post draft. Like they asked what happened with all the interceptions this year. He's like his decisions, like trying to force too many things. Like he sounds, from what I've researched and watched and read, he seems like a smart guy, willing to learn. He's not like, oh, I know everything. I'm going to go in and be day one starter. He is willing to be behind Aaron and learn, and I know Aaron will be willing to teach him. And hopefully it's a good pairing, and he's our next guy. I mean, I got to hope that, with Jordan Love with our first round pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, if it's one of those things where Aaron plays 4 years at a high level, does it? As a Packers fan, would you rather see Aaron Rodgers play at a high level for 4 more years, but say the Packers don't win a Super Bowl, or would you rather have Aaron play for a high level for 2 years and pass it on to Jordan Love to see what we have? There's nothing worse as a football fan, as an organization in the NFL, than to be kind of stuck in limbo. Team who, as much as everyone wants to say that they are America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, stuck in limbo, 8-8 every year. It's like they're the Jeff Fisher of the NFL for franchises. So, there's nothing worse than they don't know whether to rebuild, whether to sell the farm, whether to pay their franchise quarterback, who apparently they don't think is their franchise quarterback, but that's a discussion for a different day.
That's their second time they've did that too.
Yeah. So with that being said, hopefully Aaron's going to play at a high level. It's great for the NFL. It's great for the state of Wisconsin when the Packers are good. Obviously, with everything going on right now, I can absolutely. And with everything going on right now, I know there's a lot of people out there, saying, we found out that athletes aren't essential, this and that, but they don't speak for me when I say, I miss sports. Life hasn't been the same over the past few years. Having to watch, like I said, our mutual friend, old Bradley, sent me the Snapchat a little bit ago of him watching cornhole. So, let's be real. When that's what we're stuck with watching on the old ESPN is cornhole. We got a real situation.
Cornhole. I'm watching like drone racing, and ESPN's even putting the esports on there, the video games on there. It's like, I like to play the video games, but I don't want to watch people playing video games. I want to watch sport, like actual sports. It's tough. Like I'm sitting down and watching soccer. I don't watch soccer. I was like, it's just sports. I want to see action.
Yeah,
and it's a tough time, and I pray the NFL season happens. Otherwise, I think This country's already.
It's gonna be a long winter in Wisconsin if we don't get to see the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, as real life fans, it's a big deal. And I know, me and you are both huge fantasy players. We have a lot invested into the Packers offense through fantasy. Aaron Rodgers, are his days of being a top 10, top 12 fantasy quarterback behind him. It's Aaron Jones going to bounce back. What's he going to do next year? He had a ridiculous amount of rushing touchdowns last year, so obviously he's got to come back to the mean a little bit. Devontae Adams, I think we both agree, is a top 2 or 3 wide receiver in the NFL. So with that, we have a new segment that we're going to introduce. This is the Fantasy Six-Pack. So here's what we're doing this week. So it's going to be a little bit different every week, guys. So what we're going to do is the 6 players that me and Brock are kind of targeting in season-long drafts, players who maybe we like a little bit more than the rest of the people out there, players who we think are maybe a little bit undervalued. Otherwise, players who are just straight up studs. So I'll go my 6 and you go your 6. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So the first one, Terry McLaurin. Washington's going to be a bad football team. They don't have a lot of depth at wide receiver. Terry McLaurin could get, 150. He could come across Michael Thomas amount of targets. And, if Dwayne Haskins improves just a little bit, Terry McLaurin could be a fantasy stud. Nick Chubb, probably my favorite running back outside of being a Packer in the NFL. We had our dynasty startup last year, and I got Nick Chubb in, I believe, the 3rd round, which is a steal. I think he has a chance to lead the league in rushing this year. Sticking with that Cleveland offense, Baker Mayfield, he had a terrible 2019, as everyone all knows, but with them getting Jack Conklin, I believe, from the Titans, with them drafting offensive tackle in the 1st round, Odell's out to kill. Jarvis Landry is going to be back. Austin Hooper is going to be back. Kareem Hunt for a full season. I think Baker's going to have a huge year. And then these next 2, a trio, I should say, of young wide receivers. We have Justin Jefferson, Mecole Hardman, and Calvin Ridley. The Falcons are going to throw the ball a lot. Calvin Ridley's the obvious number 2 after Julio. Mecole Hardman is a burner. He's one of those guys who you can design plays for him, and he's one Tyreek or one Sammy Watkins or one Demarcus Robinson drop or injury or suspension away from being a fantasy stud. And then Justin Jefferson, I know he's the guy who you and I both liked a lot into the draft for the Packers. He's kind of going to step into that Adam Thielen role, or not Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs role. The Vikings lost like 13 DBs this year, so I think their defense is going to be absolutely trash. So they're going to be throwing a lot. So they'll be throwing a lot. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, fantasy studs. And that's my fantasy 6-pack. Brock, what do we got?
Well, I'm going to go with the obvious one right off the bat. It's Christian McCaffrey. If you have him on your team, welcome to 20 points a game. Then I got Hayden Hurst. He's replacing Austin Hooper in Atlanta. He's a big target for Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan loves his tight ends. I think he is a good possession tight end, and he can block. He can do a little bit of everything for you. I think Atlanta I think is going to be a sleeper team to watch too. They're always good, but they brought in Hayden Hurst and Todd Gurley coming in. Todd Gurley's going to try to prove himself, but Hayden Hurst, I think, is my second one at tight end. Then I got Devin Singletary in Buffalo. I think he had a good season last year, and I think he's just going to keep building on it. They added Stephon Diggs, so that adds more of a deep threat for Buffalo, so it could open up more lanes for Devin Singletary to get more yards or even punch it in 2 or 3 more times, so watch out for him. I got DeAndre Hopkins on the Cardinals now with Kyler and Fitz. I mean, that team, they have the pieces. They have the pieces.
It's going to be a high-volume offense.
the Cardinals have the pieces, and they're going to be fun to watch. Cliff Kingsbury, young coach, ready to go, firing. He's made his moves. Let's see what he can do now. Then I got N'Keal Harry with Cam coming in there. It's going to be interesting to see. Like, Cam might not be the most accurate, but he has a big arm. It might not be the same, but it's still a big arm. He likes throwing it into tight coverage, and I think N'Keal Harry will be. He's a good receiver. He was good with Tom last year, and I think Bill Belichick will make plays for N'Keal Harry, especially Cam being able to be mobile, something that Bill's never had. So maybe it throws a new wrinkle in that Bill Belichick offense. Yeah, they do a lot of checkdowns, but now you got Cam being able to be mobile. It's something to watch. It's something definitely to watch. Maybe sneak N'Keal Harry on your bench or your flex wide receiver. Low risk, high reward.
Absolutely.
I got the boy JT, Jonathan Taylor, in Indy. He's rookie, but I like who he's going behind. You got that big offensive line at Indy led by Quentin Nelson, who just bullies people. So I like Jonathan Taylor. Yes, you say Marlon Mack's there. Yes, Naeem Hines is there. There are injuries. They got injuries. JT, I think that JT will be the starter by like week 6, if not earlier.
At worst.
Yeah. I think he's going to take the workload. We've seen him. I mean, us personally, we've seen him do work in Wisconsin. If you haven't seen him in his Wisconsin highlights, you better check that out, because he's going to be a beast in this league, and especially behind that offensive line. Expect big things out of JT this year.
Absolutely. You mentioned D-Hop in Arizona. Kyler Murray, I think, has been a popular MVP pick. A lot of people are modeling him after what Lamar did last year. A rookie coming off a good season, new weapons to throw to, new offense around him, or offense designed to just be prolific around him. But I'm not sure that's where they're at. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be as good for where Kyler needs to be to win the MVP. So, with that being said, my MVP is Danger Russ Wilson. Tyler Lockett is a good target. DK Metcalf, I think, is going to be a beast in his second year. They have what seems to be 30 eligible tight ends that are good targets. They have Will Dissly. They have Greg Olsen. They have a couple of other guys on that roster where Tyler Lockett. Russ is not going to have a shortage of weapons around him for sure. Even Carlos Hyde and Chris Carson out of the backfield, they're not real big pass catchers, but can dump down. Russ is not a scrambler, but he always gets those yards and he always gets those touchdowns. The stat came out that Russ has never received the top 5 MVP vote in his entire career. I think it's about time. I think it's about time that changed. Obviously, as Packers fans, we have bitter memories of the Seahawks in the playoffs, but we also have that love for Russ with the 1 year in Wisconsin. So Russell Wilson, NFL MVP.
Yeah, I think out of all the quarterbacks, I think Russell Wilson's just a likable quarterback. Like, yeah, there's people that hate Aaron Rodgers. There's people that hate Kirk Cousins, Stafford, anybody. There's people that hate him. I've never heard anybody say, I don't like Russell Wilson. No, Russell Wilson's the guy. He does everything, right, if you want to say that. But he's a great guy, great quarterback too. It's fun to watch. But my MVP, because of the quarterback he has, Teddy Bridgewater will be checking it down to Christian McCaffrey, will be, I think, the MVP this year. We talked about it earlier that he's going to have to do a lot to get it, but I think because of who his quarterback is and he likes to check it down, I think it could be another big season for Christian McCaffrey, and could potentially lead him to a MVP season. And it's going to be fun to watch, especially just because how he is as a runner and how Teddy throws the ball, checks it down to him. Like, he's good out of the backfield receiving. He's a good receiving back. He's a good in between the tackles. Whatever you want, Christian McCaffrey is in a running back, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, so the last running back to win MVP, Adrian Peterson in 2012, had almost 2,100 rushing yards. I think for Christian McCaffrey to be a legitimate MVP candidate, I think the Panthers need to be better than what a lot of people think they're going to be, which, it's possible they've retooled a little bit on defense, but I think me personally, for him to be seriously considered, he's got to break some records. He's got to make whether it's 3,000 yards from scrimmage. If he focuses, the team itself focuses a little bit more on running versus receiving. Maybe he rushes for 2,000 yards. Sure, maybe his receiving yards might take a hit, but if he rushes for 2,000,
it's hard to put
yards
that against him.
Typically, that means your team is ahead late in games, which, if he rushes for 2,000 yards, maybe that means the Panthers are good. So I definitely think
they're in a tough division. They really
absolutely
are. So it's going to be the Panthers, Bucks, Falcons, Saints. You got a tough.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be bad, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to.
Yeah.
That division's probably hands down the best in NFL. It's tough. It's close.
You got a couple of different. Me personally, I think it would be between the AFC North and the NFC West. But I think it could be right up there by the end of the season. You could have 3 teams with 9+ wins. You could have the worst team be 7-9. We don't know. It's too early to tell. But so we picked both of our MVPs. Obviously, both offensive guys. The Defensive Player of the Year award. My guy, I think, is going to have a bounce back year. He's going to have a resurgence. I know our good buddy Dylan Hewsome is going to like this one. I think the Broncos are a surprise team to watch out for.
Drew Lock.
Von Miller, Defensive Player of the Year.
That's a solid pick, like you said. It's a down year past couple of years, but I think he'll get back to form. But my pick from the Indianapolis Colts, Darius Leonard, he is a leader of that defense, and with maybe Phillip Rivers helps them. I don't know. I'm not going to say he does, but I think Darius Leonard had a little bit of a down year last year because of a couple nagging injuries that he had, but I think he also bounces back and leads that Colts defense and that Colts team to a winning record.
Yeah. So we talked about Defensive Player of the Year. Let's just go straight into Defensive Rookie of the Year then. I know we talked a little bit about this pre-show. We had a couple of reasons, so let's just get it out there. So surprising to some of you, but Chase Young is neither of our predictions. I think the reason for me is the Redskins are going to be behind a lot. Teams are going to be running the ball a lot. To win Defensive Rookie of the Year, not only do you need to make an impact just on the games, but numbers talk. Sacks are sexy. When you're not going to see that big double-digit sack number, just because I think a lot of teams are going to be running the ball on Washington just to wind the clock down. My actual pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year is the linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens, Patrick Queen. Another guy I know that we were both hopeful that the Packers might draft late in the first round. Is a fast, rangy linebacker. I think the Ravens are going to be up in a lot of their games. I believe they're favored in every single game this year. So there's going to be a lot of times where there's chances for tackles for losses. There's opportunities for sacks, forced fumbles, recoveries, interceptions. He's kind of that do-it-all linebacker where they could put him up anywhere. whether they would need him in the box to stuff the run, in coverage on tight ends. He's one of those do-it-all linebackers. So Patrick Queen is my pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
And yeah, that's a solid pick. I mean, but I'm gonna go not Chase Young, like we said. But I mean, it's just because Chase Young it's the popular pick. We don't want to do that here. We're gonna go. I'm gonna go Isaiah Simmons with the Cardinals. He was one of my favorite players in the draft. I think he's positionless. You can put him at safety. You can put him at linebacker. You can put him at D end. You can put him anywhere on the field. He's going to make a play. He's fast, lengthy, strong, smart. Like he is I think one of the top 3 guys in this draft, and the Cardinals got him at 8. I think they got a steal at 8, and I think he's gonna win Defensive Rookie of the Year straight off because he's a playmaker. And that's what you need to win awards nowadays, is be a playmaker. You can't just be a one-trick pony. You got to do everything. You got to be able to tackle for the loss. You got to get sacks. You got to get picks, everything. And I think he's definitely that guy.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned being a playmaker. It's one of those things where I can imagine, 12, 13 years down the road that, Isaiah Simmons is just knocking on the top 10 for interceptions all time. It's one of those things where you could see game after game, pick 6 after pick 6 from Isaiah Simmons. So,
are you talking 60-plus picks?
It could be. It's just one of those things. He gets later towards the end of his career. He sticks around with the same team. But during his younger years, he's that rangy, ball hawking middle line defensive safety end. Exactly. Who knows what he is? But that's one of those things where he could be that hybrid player who, when it's all said and done, could be in the top 10 of interceptions all time, could be in the top 10 in tackle sacks all time. So it's just one of those things where we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, big fan of Isaiah Simmons. So
definitely.
And then Offensive Rookie of the Year for me, I'm going chalk on this one. I know you said we don't really like to do it.
We don't do that here.
Joe Burrow is just too easy of a pick for me. It's a quarterback's award. Running backs really have to outdo themselves to win this award. Josh Jacobs, did he deserve it over Kyler last year? You could argue it, but Kyler being a quarterback, of course he got it. Joe Burrow, they have weapons. AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, Gio Bernard out of the backfield. They get their first-round tackle from last year, Jonah Williams, back. So I think Joe Burrow has a lot of weapons. Do I think the Bengals are going to be any good this year? Probably not. But he's going to put up the numbers. So I think this is Joe Burrow's award to lose.
Oh, no. I don't think so. I like Joe Burrow, but I don't know if he's the guy, LSU, I mean, college is a totally different game than
Gold
NFL.
Tigers.
And going to the Bengals isn't necessarily the greatest thing you could have as a young quarterback with an aging wide receiver in AJ Green. But I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift for Detroit because that running back carousel over there has been winding for the last since Barry Sanders, really. And I think DeAndre Swift is a very good talent, and it fits that Lions team, and they need it. I mean, they got the weapons on the outside with Galladay and Hawkinson, and they need that guy up the middle and that can bounce at the outside. He's got good speed. He's got good agility. He can cut. He's a good running back. I think he fits that Detroit team pretty well. Detroit's I don't think it's going to be great, but I think he could give them 5+, 8+ touchdowns this year and pretty not handily, but put himself right in the position to be Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Did DeAndre Swift's brick wall of a dad force you to say that on camera? Is that why that's why?
No.
Okay.
No.
Blink twice if you're safe. Oh, that was 3 times. Oh God. Well, that's gonna be it for. No. All right. So with that said, just a little extra here. I have a comeback player of the year, kind of adds another reason for my defensive player of the year. Everybody's forgetting about Bradley Chubb, defensive player of the year. Watch out, that Broncos defense with Justin Simmons, Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, there we go, is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I could see them passing the ball 15 times a game and winning more games than people expect just off the back of the defense. So,
Drew Locks, and he looks like he could be the next guy for the Broncos. They got Cortland Sutton. They brought in Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay. I mean, the team is there. It's just they got to put it together now. And we'll see what they can do this year.
Yeah. So head on our award predictions, Super Bowl predictions. I teased it earlier. They've caused us some pain in the past.
Yep.
Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl versus the Baltimore Ravens. I think Lamar gets it done in the playoffs. I think he has another good season. I was briefly a Ravens fan about 20 years ago when they won the Super Bowl for about 3 months before I realized, that I bleed green and gold. So I have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl. And I think Seattle takes it home. I think Russell Wilson, MVP Russell Wilson, brings it home. I think Seattle's defense bends but doesn't break. They got just enough to get it done. And one more for old man Pete Carroll, one for Russ. And that's what I got. What do you got, Brock?
I want to pick Lamar because, as you know, Lamar is my guy. I picked him to win the Heisman when nobody picked him.
Nobody even knew who he was.
Nobody knew who he was. And I picked him to be a Heisman finalist. And look at us now. But I'm going back to, remember, we don't do this here, but we do this here. I'm picking the Chiefs, riding Patty Mahomes and their 4 other players that they have on the team to the Super Bowl against the Seahawks as well. But I am going to go Chiefs go back to back. That team is good. They didn't lose many people. They
got Chris Jones re-signed. Get that distraction out of the way.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to be a team, the team to beat in the AFC for years to come.
Yeah,
and they go back to back.
All right, so the beginning of a potential dynasty for the
Could
Chiefs.
And the decline of maybe the Patriots.
Yeah. All
right.
So with that said,
our favorite segment.
I'll drink to that. Again,
I'll drink to that.
We make a statement. We agree with it. We drink. We don't agree with it. We drink anyways. It's just how it is. So with that said, this one for me, it's not very bold, I don't think, but I'm going with it anyways. I say there will be, I'm going for it. There will be 3 rookie running backs to rush for over 1,000 yards.
Name those
3. I think Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, possibly. Otherwise, you have other possibilities. I think Cam Akers is the 3rd. We'll see if J.K. Dobbins can push Mark Ingram out of the way in Buffalo. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been a popular choice in Kansas City. Who knows? Zach Moss. I know Devin Singletary was your guy in Buffalo, but who knows? Zach Moss could take the job if an injury happens. So I say 3 rookie running backs go over 1,000 yards rushing.
I'll drink to that. Because you put JT in there. Mine's pretty bold. Are you ready?
What do we got?
Sir Cam Newton will be in the MVP discussion. I'm hoping for him. I like living in North Carolina. There's a lot of Cam fans here. A lot of Panther fans they love Cam, and I want to see him do good. And they kind of did him dirty here in in Carolina. I want to see him do good, but the most reason I want to see him do good is because I'd rather see Bill Belichick do good than Tom Brady do good. So I want Bill to resurge Cam's career, and I want him to be. I'm not gonna say he's gonna finish like top 3, top 2. He's gonna be there, like top 5. They're gonna talk about like, should you consider Cam? Should you?
I in no way whatsoever condone or agree with what you just said, but I'll drink to that. You guys will have to excuse my dear friend Brock. I think he might have had a little bit too much to drink tonight.
No, that's
we're gonna get his newlywed wife to come put him to bed, get him a little pillow, make sure he wakes up in the morning, doesn't regret what he just said about Cam Newton because it is on video forever.
Hey, just remember, I picked Lamar to win the Heisman. Everyone called me crazy then, call me crazy again. Do it.
Yep.
I don't care. We'll see.
With that said, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the JockTalk podcast. Again, Matt along with Brock. Follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook. Go Pack Go. Be on the lookout for some new polls. We have Madden ratings coming up in a future episode. We want to hear who you guys think is overrated. We want to hear you guys think is underrated. Just some surprises from the release. Otherwise, Brock, anything else to add before we send it out?
Go Pack Go.
All right, you guys take it easy.